It's 2025, and here's what your day should have looked like. Your automated smart home should have woken you up and helped you get ready for the day. You should have printed yourself a nice hot breakfast with a button press or a voice command. Then you should have zoomed off to work or school in your self-driving car, or a jetpack if you're the daring type. Once you got there, your robot servants should have brought you your coffee while you worked on a holographic screen that was, for some inexplicable reason, transparent from both sides. Now, I don't know your life, but I'm willing to bet it looks nothing like that. Instead, you probably woke up to an alarm on your phone, brushed your own teeth, and dressed yourself without the aid of a single robotic arm. If you had a hot breakfast, it probably came out of a toaster or a microwave or a skillet if you're feeling luxurious. You probably drove or took the bus to work, and when you got there, you grabbed coffee from the break room on your own and got to work on your regular, mercifully non-see-through computer monitor. Meanwhile, you fielded dozens of notifications on your phone, messages from group chats, news alerts of either inane tabloid gossip or horrific tragedies halfway across the world, mobile games telling you it's time to water your furniture or whatever. Maybe you scrolled through social media. Then maybe you wished you hadn't. There's this meme I've been seeing around a lot lately. It's usually got a picture of some unbelievably stupid application of modern technology overlaid with the text, "We were promised flying cars." And I think what makes it funny is that it's kind of true. It seems to reflect something real. It's become a sort of rallying cry for everyone unhappy with how technology has actually advanced. It's not particularly new either. We did surgery on a grape. Remember that? It's as if the future was once full of promise, something to look forward to. But now that it's here, it seems pretty clear that all those promises don't really mean much, do they? Which sort of begs the question, who was it that promised humanity flying cars? And why did you ever believe them? In the foreword to the 50th anniversary of her book, The Left Hand of Darkness, Ursula K. Le Guin wrote that science fiction is often described and even defined as extrapolative. The science fiction writer is supposed to take a trend or phenomenon of the here and now, purify and intensify it for dramatic effect, and extend it into the future. If this goes on, this is what will happen. A prediction is made. The Oxford Dictionary defines science fiction as fiction based on imagined future scientific or technological advancements. Wikipedia calls it a genre of speculative fiction that typically deals with imaginative and futuristic concepts such as advanced science and technology. I don't fully buy any of these definitions. They don't give a complete picture. There are plenty of subgenres of science fiction that have nothing at all to do with the future. Alternative history works like The Man in the High Castle, which imagines the world if Nazis had won World War II, paranormal sci-fi like Stranger Things, even Star Wars, which takes place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But I do think Le Guin points something out that the other definitions don't. A lot of science fiction is extrapolative. I don't necessarily think that Fahrenheit 451 was actually trying to say that we'll have violent, anti-literacy robot dogs in the future. I don't think The Hunger Games actually suggests that someday Battle Royale will be a legitimate tool for controlling the populace. I don't think 1984's telescreens were an attempt at predicting the future of television. I think all of these things are extrapolative, just in a different way. They work from the premise of something that's actually happening in reality and expand out to make a sort of guess about the trajectory of things. They're far from literal, much more in the vein of philosophical thought exercises. Predicting the future is just not really the point. There is, however, an entire field of study that does try to predict the future. It's called futurology, and it focuses on predicting the future using probability and statistics. Moore's law, for instance, stems from the observation that the number of transistors possible per microchip tends to double every 2 years. It's kind of like predicting the stock market. Needless to say, many people find this to be an exciting field of study, maybe the closest we can get to actual prognostication. But predicting the future is not science fiction. Science fiction is made up. It's fiction, it's narrative. It tries to tell stories. What would happen, asks William Gibson, if computer chips were implanted into people's nervous systems? Here's a story about it. What if, wondered the Wachowskis, the machines someday achieve a singularity and overthrow humanity? Here's a movie about it. It is all fiction. But that doesn't stop people from treating it like prophecy. How many times have you heard someone say that Star Trek's communicators predicted cell phones, or Fahrenheit 451 seashell earpieces predicted AirPods? For my money, the expression science fiction predicted the future is perhaps the single most common sentiment about the genre, and also one of the furthest from the point. It bothers me because I don't think most of these authors were trying to predict the future. I don't think that's the point of the thought exercises they're presenting. But when by complete coincidence the future does happen to align with something in a piece of science fiction, it's like people can't help themselves. The narrative of the prognostic author is just too tantalizing. And so, however far it might be from that application, this is basically the reputation that science fiction has. Even when it isn't trying to predict the future, people will turn it into a prophetic narrative. Of course, there is science fiction that really does try to predict the future. It just doesn't usually call itself science fiction. Walt Disney had a vision for the future, and he wanted people to see it. So now we have Disney World's famous Tomorrowland, where guests were promised a glimpse of the world to come. From 1957 to 1967, you could go there and see the House of the Future. Look at that thing, like the Jetsons if everything were made of plastic. The Carousel of Progress showed a progression from the technology of the early 1900s to the present day, and then even guessed at what the future would be like in the far-off 21st century. Spoilers, it's a lot of voice-acted appliances and flat-screen TVs. Honestly, not too far off. In 1967, there was the attraction Adventure Through Inner Space, where riders would enter the magic Mighty Microscope that shrunk them down to the size of an atom to explore the inside of a melting snowflake. The theme song, Miracles from Molecules, will probably live in your head forever once you hear it. From the 90s to the 2010s, there was also Innoventions, with its robot host Tom Morrow, who, I don't know, I kind of like his style. Innoventions was interesting because it was interactive. You got to play around with examples of cutting-edge technology with the promise that they'd soon be a part of your everyday life. Think House of the Future, but on steroids. Now, all of that's only scratching the surface of Walt Disney's technological optimism. He was so enamored with the idea of the future that he wanted to build the utopian future he envisioned right then and there. Like, for real. He wanted to build an actual future city that people would live in. He called it the Experimental Prototypical Community of Tomorrow, or EPCOT for short. He died before it could be realized, and without his legendary audacity, it just turned into another theme park in Disney World. What Disney was doing was different from, say, the Jetsons or Star Wars, but, it's still technically science fiction, isn't it? It's certainly not just science. If it was, you humans would all be living in plastic houses by now, optionally with creepy singing automatons in every room. It's not the kind of science fiction we're used to, but it is narrative in a similar way. It's extrapolative. The only difference is that its primary aim isn't entertainment, but education, about history, chemistry, even modern technology. At least, that's what you're supposed to think. See, the House of the Future was created to educate visitors about the potential of plastics and excite them for the future, but the reason it was supposed to do that was because it, alongside Adventure Through Inner Space, was sponsored by the Monsanto Chemical Company. You may recognize them as one of the companies infamous for manufacturing Agent Orange, the forest-killing, cancer-causing chemical used in the Vietnam War. Miracles from molecules indeed. Not all of the attractions I've mentioned have ties to war crimes, of course, but every single one of them was sponsored by a large company. The Carousel of Progress was sponsored by General Electric. Innoventions was sponsored by all the companies who made the cutting-edge gadgets that it was showing off, HP and Microsoft, among others. Spaceship Earth in Epcot has, at various times, been sponsored by Bell, AT&T, and Siemens. I was asking earlier who promised humanity flying cars. Well, you'll probably be shocked at this point to find out that it started out as an advertisement. If you read the fine print here, you can see that it was created by America's independent light and power companies, whatever that means. These companies aren't just trying to educate you. They're not even trying to entertain you. What they're trying to do is excite you, specifically about their products. The reason they make promises about the future is because they want to be the ones to fulfill them. I've been talking a lot about the past here, but isn't this all feeling a little familiar? Isn't this actually the kind of thing you see, every day? You see it in ads for skincare products, for that mushroom coffee every podcast host wants you to buy, all the self-help courses, the weight loss supplements, the other kinds of supplements. These are all advertisers trying to get you excited. The thing that they're ultimately trying to sell you is hope. This is the other kind of science fiction. Not just extrapolation, but a hopeful prediction. Isn't the world awful, they ask? Don't you wish it could be better and soon? Well, have no fear. Here's the future you should have. Here's the future you deserve. And Meta is going to be the one to bring it to you. It isn't necessarily even about profit. Not really, not at the root. Sometimes it's just about wanting to make something cool. And those cool things are usually the sort of thing you'd see in science fiction, the regular kind. Elon Musk strikes me as maybe the best example of this. Now, I know he's a whole political thing, but I'm the literature robot. I'm mainly just interested in how he fits into this other kind of science fiction, as what many people have referred to as the real-life Tony Stark. So I looked into some of the technology he's funded, and some of it is legitimately very cool. The impact of Tesla on the shift toward electric cars is hard to overstate. Starlink can be a real benefit to crisis areas. But then he'll come out with something like that weird circular tunnel underneath Las Vegas stocked with Tesla chauffeurs, and I can't quite put my finger on what the point of that is. Isn't that just a subway but worse? Elon Musk is the richest person in the entire world. He doesn't need more money, and he honestly doesn't seem terribly concerned about getting it. For him, it seems to be more ideological. He seems to pick his projects based on, among other things, how sci-fi they seem. Neuralink? That's cyberpunk. Mars colonization? That's space opera. Self-driving cars? Knight Rider. He's not the only one, of course. This is kind of just a tech company thing. There's a meme I like, a tweet about a tech company CEO announcing that, at long last, they've created the Torment Nexus from the fictional novel Don't Create the Torment Nexus. Because it's true, isn't it? It's almost like they have a predetermined view of what the future is like, a view built from science fiction, and they consider it their duty to bring it to life. Some of them are even, like Disney, trying to literally build the city of tomorrow today. What I find interesting here is that practicality doesn't really seem to be an object to these wealthy tech dreamers. Like that famous Jurassic Park quote, it's as if they're so busy focusing on whether they can that they're not really thinking about whether they should. My favorite example of this is AI, because people like Sam Altman and Elon Musk are constantly going on about what an existential threat to humanity AI is going to be, while selling investors on all the exciting things it's going to do. Which is confusing to me because how could any upside ever be worth the possible destruction of your entire species? If they really think that's a possibility, why are they working so hard and with such apparent reckless abandon to expedite it? Look, I'm not saying that all sci-fi tech should be avoided or even that it's out of reach. A lot of things that were science fiction just at the turn of the millennium are a reality now. In the year 2000, innovations showed off touchscreen computers, digital photo frames, fitness video games, age-changing filters for photos. Nowadays, all those things are in your house, and half of them are probably in your pocket. Remember that quote that I read from Ursula K. Le Guin earlier? She says something else in the same piece, something I really, really like. Prediction, she says, is the business of prophets, clairvoyants, and futurologists. It is not the business of novelists. A novelist's business is lying. Walt Disney, Monsanto, and Elon Musk might not be novelists, but their business is also lying. Narrative craft surrounding a future that they cannot possibly know, but want you to believe in. Even if all their predictions come true, it's still not going to create the utopia that you were promised. That kind of starry-eyed amazement is simply not a sustainable emotion. New technology quickly becomes boring or annoying or gimmicky. That's just life. People have been dreaming about robotic vacuum cleaners since the 1800s. When was the last time you looked at a Roomba and felt a sense of awe? My point is this. We don't know what the future will be like. Heck, it might even have flying cars. I don't know. And neither does Monsanto or Peter Thiel or Elon Musk. It's not that we shouldn't dream about the future, but it is important that we recognize the difference between dreams and prophecy. These promises are not futurology. They are narratives. They are all science fiction. And remember, science fiction does not predict the future. It just wonders about it. There is a little more to this, though. It's not enough just to tell you to be skeptical. Seeing through this kind of science fiction is also a matter of learning. You can't know what's realistic to expect if you don't know what's real, right? So, how do you start? Developing enough of an education to break down the potential ramifications of AI systems and urban infrastructure projects is not easy. But it can be. I'm no mathematician, but I've been doing it. For 15 minutes a day, I've been learning Python. I can, program things now, at least a little bit. What you're seeing on screen right now are some of the actual lessons I studied to get here. If you look, they're kind of more like fun little mini-games than anything, and that's because they're all made to feel that way on purpose. That's what our sponsor, Brilliant, does. They make learning stuff like this easy. For everyone like me, all the literature and fiction nerds, Brilliant really is probably the easiest way I know of to learn things like coding, math, physics, logic, all the STEM field stuff that's always seemed too cold and difficult to approach. You can try your first 30 days for free. After that, if it's not for you, cancel and never worry about it again. But at least give it a try. There's nothing to lose and actual worlds to gain. Visit brilliant.org/TaleFoundry or click the link in the description to get started. And if you like what you see and you want to sign up, TaleFoundry fans get 20% off. Just make sure you use our link. Again, visit brilliant.org/TaleFoundry to get your first 30 days for free and 20% off a year subscription. The surest protection against everyone who wants to sell you some vision of a false future is to do some learning yourself. If you know how technology actually works, you're a lot less likely to put your faith in a future that probably isn't coming. And Brilliant is a really good way to get started. Anyway, that's all for this one. Thanks for watching and keep making stuff up. I'll see you next week. Bye!